Hi, I'm Anne Scottlin, and welcome back to my show. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for stopping by and spending a little bit of your time with me. I so appreciate it. Please like and subscribe so I can keep this content coming to you. And also, as always, please leave your comments and questions. On many episodes now, I'm answering questions on the show that you all leave me in the notes. So please continue to leave questions on any subject that you think might be relevant to this platform, and I will be going through them and picking some to address on the show. So again, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I am talking about how to make room for joy in your life. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? Today I'm talking about how to make room for joy in your life. Now, first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about house cleaning. I promise it's very short. Going through your physical, mental, and spiritual closets and weeding them out in order to make room for joy in your life. So I can't wait to get to that. But first, I'm going to give a shout out to a viewer that forgot to leave his name. So I'll go by his handle, Mission Zero. And he wrote in regarding that episode recently on Your Right to Be Unhappy. Your Right to Be Unhappy. Mission Zero says, I somehow didn't know you had a YouTube channel. Insta-subbed. Thank you for all your inspiration and instruction. This is an important subject. We brainwash ourselves with negativity until we are programmed to not accept good outcomes. We have to reprogram all that. Well, thank you, Mission Zero. I super appreciate your feedback, your encouragement, and I love your dialogue there on the show itself and the content. So thank you for that. I hope you're watching here again today so that you could catch that shout out. And please send in more. I would love to give a lot more shout outs on the show. So send in your comments and either here or on the Twitter feed at Anne Scottlin, as you know, ANNESCOTTLIN. So today I'm talking about making room for joy. But before we get too far into discussing making room for joy, let's go back and talk about the difference between joy and happiness. So what is the difference between happiness and joy? Great question. People ask me this all the time. Happiness is great, and happiness is binary. Either you are or you aren't happy. Popular culture and marketing usually tells us that happiness comes from external factors in your life, how much money you have, or what you buy, or who you're in a relationship with, or your job situation, and so it continues. So either you're happy or you're not. Joy, however, joy is something that comes from the inside. It's an intrinsic, renewable energy, and once you rediscover and tap into it, it can change the rest of your life. Whether you're 5 or 105, religious or not religious, joy is your birthright as a human being. And it's my mission to help you tap into your joy again and to transform your life and world. Joy it's part of who you are, and joy is the best thing about life. So let's talk about making room for joy. What do I mean by making room for joy? Well, let's talk about your literal home for a minute. And because I'm moving right now, mine's a mess. It can be hard to find something. So it can be very hard to find something in your house if it's so cluttered that there is literally no clean surfaces or open spaces. And if you're having trouble finding joy in your life, it may be because your body, your mind, your spirit are experiencing some clutter. There may be so much going on inside you that there is quite literally no room for joy. Maybe we never considered this before. We feel like, I wish I had more joy in my life, but I don't know why I don't. I guess it's bad luck, or I mustn't be doing something right. But sometimes we forget to consider the fact that there may just be no room for joy. So what can you do to make room for joy? I'll share with you some ways to make room for joy in your life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So first of all, physically, how can you make room for joy in your life physically? Well, declutter, literally. You're overloaded with stimuli every day. I won't even talk about electronics, but in general, Rush, 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 all that we try to cram into our life, all the events, all the people, all the technology. You're literally overloaded with stimuli. So declutter physically. Declutter. How can you do that? Might mean setting the phone aside once in a while. It might be just cleaning up your house. It could literally be physically cleaning up some space. Because for some people, many people actually, but some in particular, when there's a mess everywhere, it's aggravating. Not all, but some. It's aggravating. Like you just feel like everywhere you look, there's something that needs to be done. Which is true for me right now because I'm packing. Everywhere you look, there's something that needs to be done, and it just makes your brain go and go and go and go. And you're just kind of from one thing to the next, one thing to the next. Maybe clean up some of that. Make a work day. Have a work bee at your own house. Or clean up one room where you can have peace and quiet. And declutter, literally declutter, so that you have some physical space to let something else into your system, to let joy into your life. What's another way you can make room for joy physically? Oh, you're not going to like this one. Disconnect some of your attachment to possessions. Oh, God, that's hard. I know it is because I love stuff. I love collecting stuff. Ever since I was a little kid, I loved stuff. When I bought my first few pieces of furniture as an adult, I was so attached to them. And later down the line, when I had to move and get rid of some of them, I found it almost crushing, which sounds ridiculous now. But we get so attached to physical things. We get so attached to possessions, to cars, to clothes, to electronics, to jewelry, to whatever your thing is, that you're attached to possessions. It takes up a lot of your physical experience. When you see your possession, what does it do? Does it make your mind move towards joy? Maybe sometimes. Or does it also move your mind toward attachments like, ooh, I've got to clean it. Ooh, I have to keep it nice. Ooh, I want my friends to see it. Ooh, this, ooh, that. Is that maybe not really about making room for joy? It may just be about showing off. There could be some satisfaction in your possessions. There's nothing wrong with that. And some possessions may literally bring you joy. But just think about disconnecting maybe with some of them a little bit more so you can emotionally even and physically make room for joy in your life. What's another thing you can do to make room for joy physically? Well, literally, get out in some fresh air. Surround yourself with some more space, with healthier space. Fresh air, get out, walk, get out of your inside experience. So many of us are kind of trapped in an inside experience so much, especially in recent months. And it sometimes takes some conscious effort to get outside, to breathe some air, and take care of your health in general. Get some good exercise. And if you're coming up short on sleep, make a point to arrange your life to get some better, more consistent sleep. I know even if you're a busy parent, maybe find a way to get a nap, to get a little bit of extra sleep. Maybe have someone come over and watch the kids so you can take a nap. But whatever your life situation, try to take good care of your health, because part of letting joy into your life, part of making room for joy, is physical. Decluttering, literally disconnecting from some of your attachment to possessions, and then getting out in some fresh air. All of these can help you physically create more room for joy in your life. Okay, so emotionally, how can you make more room for joy emotionally? Well, first of all, maybe clean up your to-do lists. I love lists. I love to-do lists. I love checklists. I love getting stuff done. And I get addicted to my busy, work, achieve. The problem is it's endless. My to-do lists are usually literally endless. And I've realized recently that I have to start prioritizing and then laying others aside. Take rewrite those lists to the priorities and then take the rest and stuff them in a desk drawer. And if they're that important, you're going to come back to them and you can add them to their short list of priorities. But clean up your to-do lists because they are sucking literally the life out of you, keeps your brain really busy, keeps your emotions focused and in a phase of sort of like urgent productive energy that doesn't necessarily allow you emotional space to attract joy into your life. What's another way you can make room for joy emotionally? Create some space in your relationships. Ooh. Oh, yeah, nobody likes that one either. Maybe you need a timeout. Maybe that's just in your own home where you go in a room and you close the door and you have some space to yourself. Maybe you need a timeout in a relationship. Maybe that's a significant other. Maybe that's a parent, a sibling, a friend. Maybe you need to create some space in your relationships to create space in your life for joy. Maybe you need a sacred place, a happy place where you can go and spend time and either relax or meditate or read and just kind of get centered and open up your mind and heart and not be completely overwhelmed by relationships. Sometimes we have so many people in our life that they take up all the room, and you can share joy with people, but you can't really share joy if you're not having any, if you're not experiencing it. So work out a personal environment that leaves you space to catch your breath and to emotionally relax a little bit, because otherwise we just get trapped in an environment socially often that exhausts us, and we have no mental bandwidth for joy. All you know is overwhelm instead of joy. How about another way? How's another way you can make room for joy emotionally? Clean out your thought closet. Yeah, clean out your thought closet. If you habitually focus on the negative, it's going to be very hard for you to attract joy into your life because your emotions follow your thoughts. We can't control our emotions. I was just talking to a viewer today about this. You can't control your emotions, but you can control your thoughts. And whatever you focus on the most is where your emotions are going to follow. And if you're focused on negativity, if you're focused on a victim mindset and everything bad that's happened in your life, if all you're focused on is work, if all you're focused on is some big event, if all you're focused on is especially anything that's negative, your emotions are going to follow your thoughts. If you focus on the fact that you're down, you're going to stay down. So clean out your thought closet. Clean it out. It needs some space for joy. That's why I'm using the house cleaning metaphor, even though I hate house cleaning. Yes, I do. I said it. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. But it's necessary, and I always feel better when it's done. And I am making room in my life for a better experience. So make room emotionally for joy. Joy is not hard to find, and I'm going to be talking about that more in some upcoming episodes. You can learn to connect to your joy much more quickly than you ever thought possible. But you do need to clean out your thought closet and make room for joy. And then, how can you make room for joy spiritfully? What? Spirit what? I know. How can you make room for joy spiritfully? Okay. All right. I'll take a moment here. I'm not using the word spiritual here. And this is why. I'm going to have a drink first. I'm not using the word spiritual because of all the sad and unfortunate baggage and connotations that it brings with it. For some of you, it's not a problem. A spiritual is a very wonderful, close, and happy sense for you. For others, a spiritual has all kinds of negative life experiences, sometimes even traumas. Sometimes, for some people, spiritual is tied directly to organized religion and in a place where they never felt like they fit. So spiritual has a lot of baggage. The word is spiritual, has a lot of baggage to it. If it doesn't for you, awesome. Then you can just keep using it. But I'm using spiritful. So by spirit here, what I mean is not sort of the spirit or soul in a religious sense. I'm talking about your inner essence, connectedness, the universe, God, purpose. And for some of you, those already might be synonymous with spiritual. Great. And for some of you, though, maybe not. And if you don't believe in a spirit or a soul in the traditional religious sense, then perhaps you have some other experience, a sensation about life force, or your interface with the laws of nature that are greater than our understanding, or some other kind of interconnectedness, or an energy of well-being deep inside your subconscious. And if that doesn't resonate for you, then just leave off this one for now. But this is the nature of the word spirit that I am using when I use the word spiritful. Spiritful actually is a word, by the way. It is. It's actually a word, but it's an archaic word and it's not in general usage anymore. You didn't know you were going to get some etymology today, did you? So according to the Collins English Dictionary and Merriam-Webster Dictionary, long ago, spiritful used to mean spirited or full of spirit, meaning like lively or energized, right? Or secondarily, spiritful could have a general reference to what people traditionally call spirituality, but it tended more towards the energy, the livingness, the living flow. Maybe you see where I'm going with this. Well, I've been reappropriating this word for a while now. Sorry, Merriam-Webster. With a new definition, when I say spiritful, I mean the sensation you have when your spirit is full. The sensation you have when your spirit is full. And if you want to call it your heart, not your spirit, that's fine. The sensation you have when your heart is full. And when I say spiritful, I mean an abundant heart of connectedness and well-being. An abundant heart of connectedness and well-being. So when you are working to make room already in your life for joy, making room for joy physically, making room for joy emotionally, so how can you make room for joy spiritfully? Well, first, find out what might be blocking you. That's a really fair question. Ask yourself, am I open spiritfully? Am I open spiritfully? Am I in flow? Am I connected? Is anything blocking me? I mean, joy is often drawn to flow to you through your spirit or through your heart, through your center. That's often where joy comes into your life. So if you're feeling blocked in your spirit, then your joy is probably also blocked. So find out what may be blocking you, and that may be a journey for you, but no better time than now to start. And what's another way you can make room for joy in your spirit? Yes. Quiet your mind. Yes. How can you make room for joy in your life when your mind has become, honestly, not much more than a computer? Data in, data out, 24/7, 365. Quiet your mind. And you already know many ways, many of which I've already discussed on this show. What makes you peaceful, what makes you feel quiet, what makes you feel happy, whether that's nature or meditation or relaxing music or whatever that is. Quiet your mind. And that's one way to help cleanse your spirit and make room for joy. Well, how about another way you can make room for joy in your spirit? Concentrate your thoughts on seeking and sharing joy. That doesn't sound that profound, does it? Because it's not. It's actually very simple. Concentrate your thoughts on seeking and sharing joy, as opposed to that other thing, that the negativity, the victimization, the anger and resentment that you don't have joy in your life. It's not going to attract joy, guys. If you want to attract joy, if you want your emotions to find joy, you're going to have to set the mind in a place that your emotions can follow. So that's seeking joy. Seeking joy. Look for joy in your life. Look for things that bring you joy. And if now, just for starters, literally start identifying moments when you do feel joyful. Not just happy, although happy could feed into it, but joyful. Joy being like the inner, grounded, the flow, the peace, satisfaction, connectivity, a sense of inner well-being. Start looking for areas of your life when you are experiencing that and note it down. Write it in a journal or make a note on your phone. Where is it that when do you experience joy, and how can you do that more often? Start seeking joy, and you know it's going to be in there, and sharing joy. Because, secret, sharing joy will bring you more joy. I promise. Not every single time, perhaps, but sharing joy will bring you more joy. Try it. Message me. Let me know how that's working for you. So now you know several ways to make room for joy in your life. Physically, emotionally, and in your spirit, your heart, your center. So I just want to tell you today, there are plenty of ways for you to start making room for joy in your life. And I have worked to start making room for joy in my own life. I spent many years feeling suffocated, literally suffocated is such a good word for my personal experience, where I was kind of like, I just felt like I was in a straitjacket of stress and pain, physical pain, mental pain, living in a space of victimization, and clearly had no way joy was going to penetrate this armor that I was living inside. And I started realizing that I was never going to love my life or enjoy my life or really do any good in the world unless I found ways to let joy in. Finding more ways of letting joy into my life. And some of them are included in the points I shared today. So you can always go back. There were 3 points in physical, 3 in emotional, and 3 in spiritual. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please send me your messages. I would love to hear of your ways of bringing joy into your life, or ways you've realized of areas that you identify with joy. Please leave me a note. Would really appreciate it, because I'd love your feedback. And I'd love your stories of what ways you find in your life to find joy. What things in your life bring you joy? Paths that you are learning to practice to move away from the negative thought patterns and toward making space in your life for joy. Because joy is so worth it. And we are so going to talk more about this very soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. I'll see you here again next time. And I wish for you today that you live in your joy. Live in your joy and make room for more. See you again soon.